when I talked about that mountaintop thing, you don't know what it's like to be considered invisible and useless to both men and women. You don't get it. You don't know that feeling. I don't care if you're the most unattractive. If you saw the show, what was it? My 400, 500-pound life or something like that, with
Right.
these people where they got to get cranes and break down doors to move these people. Why all these women got men?
Why? Great question. I've always
Because she still, as a woman by default, she's still going to have value with some man.
Listen, that is so true. And a lot of women don't understand this. Listen, as a man, we are invisible. Majority of men are invisible. You know, even the ones that look good enough nowadays, if you don't have money, you can still be invisible. He said a very key thing. Even on that show, right, where the women that are obese, they still get a husband. A big girl can still get dudes coming at her, where a big dude or aka a fat dude won't have the same outcome as a fat girl when it comes to like the dating market. So I'm not saying her chances are very broad like a slim, good looking girl. No, she still have a chance where a fat guy, his chances are very, very slim.
And you're thinking about, well, oh my gosh, this incel thing, and all these men want to harm me and hurt me and do this or do that. A huge percentage of the boys and men that feel that way, there's a reading why they're leading the statistics of being 4 times more likely to take their own life.
right.
They're actually far more of a danger to themselves.
Than to anybody else.
Even in a relationship,
Mm.
you take a woman who's in a relationship with a man and a relationship with a woman, her domestic violence rates is significantly higher with another woman than with a man.
Really?
DV rates are up. Divorce rates are up when same-sex relationships between two women than her with a man.
I know. It's the highest divorce rate is lesbian couples.
Yeah, and so is the DV rate.
What's the D? They should be having the most orgasms. That's unbelievable.
Domestic violence.
Yeah,
DV rate.
Right.
Yeah. So again, this show is so popular, it's so big, probably 250,000 plus people are probably going to watch it. And now they're again adding to this narrative that the most unsafe you can be is dealing with and doing life with men or males.
Mm.
And what I'm arguing is a huge percentage of them end up taking their own life. A very, very small percentage of them, if they get successful enough, end up finding a suitable partner, or they're going abroad to find a woman who can meet their needs. So it's not to say that there's violence between men and women that doesn't exist. Of course, it's a thing. All I'm suggesting is that the show, there may be ulterior motives for why the show is being pushed. And whenever politicians or celebrities or anybody who's not a normal person jumps in on a wave, always be wary of what's the thing that they're pushing and what's the policy that's going to come down as a result of this. Is this going to be a social media crackdown? Is this going to be a monitoring thing where people have to register their social ID numbers or something in order for them to even have access to?
Look, he said a very key thing, bro. Like a lot of times, society in the media will have you thinking that, oh my God, men are monsters, men are bad, men harm women. A lot of times, like you said, the highest DV rate really are from and also by women. That's just the facts, and especially when it's same sex, like women dating women or married to women, the DV rate increase like crazy up. So it's just such a very false narrative how they push that on every platform and every media to make it seem like men are bad. Well, honestly, man, we get beat up the most by our spouse and by our girlfriend, by our wife. The only difference is we don't report the beat ups. I think every man should start reporting it. I encourage every man that's in a situation where their girlfriend, baby mama, wife, ex, if they are constantly attacking you, hitting you, don't allow that disrespect, because once you allow the woman to physically harm you and hit you nonstop, you showing her that, hey, it is okay for you to disrespect me. As a man, as a leader, you should not be allowing that at all. Matter of fact, nobody, women or men, should allow anyone to put their hands on them. And nobody, both women and men, should put their hands on anybody unless your life is in danger and you need to protect your life.
And the question is this, actually. Do men and women experience sex? And are the consequences they experience from said sex the same or different? These are the things that I noted that were different. Men tend to have higher sexual desire and are more accepting of casual, non-commitment based sex. Sex hormone amounts and patterns are different between male and females. The hypothalamus, which is the region of the brain involved in sexual activity, is both larger and more sensitive to testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
Men tend to experience quicker and more intense sexual arousal and orgasms compared to women. Research shows that women's sexual desire has more variables and is influenced by factors like self-esteem, relationships, emotions, and how they feel about their bodies, the relationship and overall emotional state, social consequences of clear communication of their desires in the domains of sex, especially sexually. So think of it this way, because that one could be a little bit confusing. If men were bluntly or straightforwardly honest about how often they think about sex, about the different ways that they think about sex, about the different types of women that they want to experience in terms of thinking about sex, if they were honest about how they felt sexually, are they rewarded for their honesty?
No.
And then lastly,
That was quick.
reproduction evolutionary drives for men or women. You are the product of thousands, if not tens of thousands of years of one side of a person or one set group trying to survive and procreate and mate select in a certain way. And the other group, you're the product of a person who kept sowing their seed.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is going to be like, well, wait a minute. If there's all of these evolutionary, biological, physiological differences, and men and women clearly don't even experience sex, let alone orgasms in the same way, I don't know. Actually, I do know, but I'm just saying it facetiously. I don't know that in the quest to be like men, that's actually been a net benefit to most women, especially after 40, 50 years of this experiment. That doesn't mean that men are justified to cheat. It seems to suggest that at least their biological hardwiring has designed them to better be able to be okay with doing it.
Look, he said a lot of very key point and great points in that quick conversation. Look, of course, nobody should cheat. It's all about honesty and loyalty. But if you're talking about just like, okay, the sex component, by default, men are just wired to have sex, aka meaningless sex with no attachment. We don't need to be wine and dine. We don't need to have emotions involved and be in our feelings and feel some kind of way. And whatever turns a woman on to have sex, man doesn't need that. So that's why a lot of time when a woman cheat on a man, the man is more hurt because he knows that you cheating on me, man, it should have at least, right? Took days, weeks, sometimes even months and years for you to kind of get in that feeling in order for you to actually cheat. You have to be on the phone and cake and meet behind my back, X, Y, and Z. Whereas a man can go out one night, meet a girl for the first time, don't even know her freaking name. He's happened to be, horny at that time, and boom, he just cheat and don't see that girl no more. Don't hear from her no more. Like I said, of course, I'm not saying cheat. It's good to be safe, protected, and be very honest. I'm trying to give you a broader sense of like how generically and how much we are hardwired to have sex without any kind of emotions. So a man can just kind of, like I said, just cheat on a one night stand. Don't even know the girl's name. He just knows she looked good at the time. He was horny. She gave it up and he took it and that was it. Where on the other side, when the woman's cheat, most likely 9 out of 10, she had to put in emotions involved. And even after she had sex with him, not all women, I'm just talking about the majority and some in general, they still have some kind of attachment with that guy she cheated with. And also she can keep that guy around just in case if the man either break up with her or find out, she have a backup plan to go to. So it's not the exact same thing when both parties cheat or both parties have sex. Of course, once again, it is wrong to do it, but in all honesty, when a man is single, that's why men can have sex by different women and not be tied down to one. And also, there's a reason why men can go around and pregnant, 5 women at the exact same time, where out of the 5 women, if one get pregnant, she can't go around and get pregnant by 5 different guys at the exact same time.
Part of the other reason for why some men will cheat is because they don't have the option to do so. What's the reward for the guy that no woman is checking for? You don't have the option. You don't even have the option to cheat. No woman checking for you. You're not that attractive. You got lucky with getting with some woman who wanted to settle down or settled for you. And part of the reason why you're so faithful is because it's fairly easy when you don't have women that's constantly trying to poach you and steal you from your wife or girlfriend.
Sure.
Yo, this man said some very key point. Matter of fact, big shout out to this new podcast. What is it called? The podcast called Sharing My Truth Podcast. And the dude speaking, his name is Jeff James. So y'all can go look up there, the Sharing My Truth Podcast, which belong to these 2 women. So listen, but now here's my final take. One thing I want to dive into is that the last portion he said, a lot of men are faithful because they have no other choice but to be faithful. You have to understand, man, we can't just get up in the morning, well, just most men, the average men, get up in the morning, walk outside, and then by default, demand sex. Or by default, sex is thrown at us, draws, punani's throwing at us. We don't have that kind of option to do so. Where, and this is for even a average good-looking man, where a good-looking woman can walk out the door and she get sex thrown at her, phone numbers thrown at her. Hey, beautiful. Hey, sexy. Hey, ma. Hey, woo, hey, little short. Hey, what's going on? Woo, woo. Constantly. They open their phones, their DMs. Hey, girl. Hey, let me take you out. Hey, how much? Here's some, here's some, D pics, right? They'll go to their social media, go under their photos, comments. Hey, beautiful. Oh, you so sexy, beautiful. I'll do it. I'll drink your bath water, beautiful. Women, at least a good-looking woman, they constantly get thrown to them different men, different opportunities, different ways to have sex, all that kind of stuff. So they have to really enhance their ability to not cheat because they have so much. That's why, that's one thing about I give a woman props when she's very faithful and she look good and she doesn't cheat. I give you props because you can if you want to. It's that easy. A woman can walk outside today and cheat and have sex to a random guy. If a girl look good, any guy, you go to a bar, go to wherever, say, hey, you want to have sex? 9 out of 10, he'll be like, oh, me? Hell yeah. He'll do it. A man can't just go outside at a bar, a club, whatever, a freaking Target, wherever they at, and tell a girl, hey, want to have sex? Ew, you creep. That's what you're going to hear from her. She's going to call 911 on you. Get your little, perverted self locked up. When I hear a lot of men saying, I'm not saying, it is impossible to be faithful. I'm not saying that a man can be faithful. A man can be disciplined. A man can look good and still not cheat. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not talking about all men. I'm just saying the majority of the average man that are married or in a relationship that, well, I don't want to cheat on my wife. Bro, you can't cheat on your wife. You don't have that kind of option. Like, can you picture, okay, let's use a very dramatic example. Chris Brown. The men have women flocking them. Literally. The women will like follow this man around like he's Jesus or something. You feel me? They'll throw their panties at him like, you know, he's a celebrity. He sings, he got money. Like, with him, he had the option to cheat. Like, men like that should remain single until they kind of get it out of the system. But can you imagine somebody like Chris Brown, married or in a relationship, and then be shocked if he cheat, and then, or at least like expect him to be faithful? If he is faithful, props him. That's why I say when a man is faithful, that can get a lot of women, that have the money, the fame, etc. He earned that faithfulness because, like, damn, because it's hard. But can you imagine somebody like Chris Brown? With him, he can cheat. He can choose not to cheat because he gets so much option. Like, yeah, he's so used to it. He's probably so used to girls, you know, coming at him. So for the average man that are faithful, look, bro, you are faithful by force and not by choice. Understand that. But anyway, so that's it for today's video. What are your thoughts? Comment below. I want to know what you think about all this, and I actually want to have a whole dialogue in the comment section, so please comment below. And as always, like the video, share the video, and don't forget to subscribe. This is your boy B, the CEO. I'm see you next time, man. Peace out.